Okay, so if you didn't know, I have a daughter that's about 1.5 now. And she's the most precious thing in my world right now. And I can't stop smiling. And it's about time that she has her own furniture. And I was looking into buying one, but maybe not, because most likely those baby furnitures are getting made by some other kid in other countries. So might as well make my own. And I have a CNC machine, and a lot of you actually have a CNC machine. So I thought on your downtime, maybe you could make this, sell it, or give it to your friends and family. And so this is what I designed. First of all, this is the chair, and all of these files are going to be included, and it's available on my website, which is woby.design. So let me explain this chair. This actually has 3 different settings. First is this setting right here. It's a little bit lower to the ground. I think it's about 4 or 5 inches off the ground, and it's for little baby toddlers that's probably about 1 to 1.5, maybe up to 2-year-old babies. And once they outgrow them, you don't want to buy new furniture. So what you want to do is you just flip it. All you have to do is you flip it and you get a little bit higher seat, which is about, I think, 8 inches off the ground. This is perfect for any 2 to 3, maybe 4-year-olds. Now, there's a third setting, which is for maybe for bigger kids, maybe even for you, because you want to get down to their level at some times when they're sitting down. You don't want to sit on the ground. So you could sit on this stool by putting it like this, and sit on top of this. And so 3 different settings in one chair. Pretty cool, right? And my daughter's been using it and she really loves it. I think it's super easy to make, which I'll show you, and really nice gift for those of you who have friends or family that has a baby. So yeah, that's the chair. Now, when it comes to the table, I have 2 different table designs. This is the first table design. It's nice and simple for 1 kid. This also has 2 different settings. One is for a regular desk, just like this. The chair actually fits in all the way, so it's neatly stored away, so it's nice and clean. Now, I also use this as a stepping stool for my daughter, for her to be at a countertop height. And so when I flip this over like this, you get it higher off the ground, and she actually climbs up here, and then she stands on this platform, and then she kind of like plays with us and eats and things like that. So 2 different settings for this smaller first table, which is for 1 kid pretty much. And this is nice design too, because you can actually lean this against the wall and you're not taking up too much space. And 1 chair goes in like this, neatly stored away. This is table design number 1. Table design number 2 is for those of you who has 2 kids, and this is the table itself. And it's a little bit wider, but unfortunately, I can't have it up like this because this is kind of open. You can put 2 chairs in, just like this, and it's a little bit wider. The kids could kind of, share this platform. 1 desk, 2 chair, neatly stored away. They could play kind of footsies like this. So this is the table number 2 design, and it's kind of designed for 2 kids. Pretty cool, right? Now, unfortunately, you do need a CNC machine to make this. And if you don't have a CNC machine, you could actually ask my friend ALMA from Pink Soul Studios. And you have to ask her nicely because she's not really obligated to make it. But if you ask her nicely, she might cut this out for you for a fee and ship it back to you. But I honestly think a lot of you have a CNC machine, and maybe we could help each other out. And you could comment down below which country or what city you're at. And you could comment down below what you would charge and how to contact you. I don't know. And you'd be surprised how many people in your area actually have a CNC machine and it's kind of collecting dust or has a lot of downtime or whatever the case might be. So without further ado, let me show you how to make this Woby toddler table and chair set. Cool? Woo! Okay, so for this project, any 3/4 inch or 18 millimeter plywood should work. I highly recommend using pre-finished plywood because you don't have to sand it and you don't have to finish it. So that's 2 steps taken off your list. Now, this plywood here actually has laminate on top. So it's really nice, minimal scratches and very durable. It's really easy to clean. I have it right now at my shop or at my house made out of this material, and it's really easy to clean. So I highly recommend this one. This is from Home Depot, but try avoiding any of those plywoods with literally paper thin top veneer that comes off super easily. And when you're machining it on the CNC machine, sometimes those chip off and it looks really terrible. Now on the file itself, there's going to be the dimensions. So you have to scale that file in your software and create your own G code because every machine kind of works a little differently. But as long as you have the SVG file, which I'm providing, you just have to scale that in your software. I give you all the dimensions on that file, scale it up and cut your plywood to size or your material to size. So that's what I'm going to do. Very easy. I feel like I'm making it more complicating by explaining it too much. You know what I'm saying? This is all the material I need for one chair. So very efficient. This should work out for a lot of people because you have a lot of scraps like this in your shop. That's one chair, baby. Okay, so this is the file. We have 4 different squares, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're cutting outside of that, and then whatever's on the inside, you're cutting the inside of that line. Same thing with this piece. This is where the plywood would fit, and the holes as well. You're cutting the inside of those holes. So if you look at it, it should look something like this once it's machined. So you're cutting the inside of those holes, inside of these lines, inside of these little pill shape. Same thing with this. And then you're cutting the outside of these boxes. And make sure to add tabs. And I wrote all the instructions on the SVG file, so very easy. Let's get to cutting. By the way, I had this CNC for like, I don't know, maybe 2 years now. Works amazing. Even though I didn't properly install it and the orientation is off, it still works fine. So all you haters out there, you're wrong once again, baby. Okay, so I'm pretty much ready to go. Usually takes about 30 minutes or less. I'm very conservative with my files because I rather run it slow, do my own thing, and make sure everything's properly running rather than trying to rush it and to try to go faster and it's rough on the bits and blah, blah, blah. So about 30 minutes per chair. So make sure your dust collection's on unless you're outside. And also use a 1/4 inch bit or smaller for you to get into those little tiny holes. So other than that, I think we're good to go. Okay, so took about 45 minutes, 20 minutes, I would say. There were some hiccups with the little dust boot that came off. Also, I didn't have tabs for these, so it came off. Luckily, nothing damaged. So takes about 20 minutes. I would say you could probably go faster, but as I explained earlier, things like this happen, so I rather have it go slower and ruin it than just catching the mistake, pause the machine, and yeah. This is how I added the tabs. And also, big shout out to ONEFINITY for sending me this machine long time ago. I love using it. And I think a lot of people who don't have space realize that there's a CNC machine out there that you can mount on the wall. So that's nice. So if you guys are interested in one of these CNC machines, check out the link down below. It helps me out, helps them out. Win-win, baby. Okay, so I ended up cutting 3 because I was gonna do one for one kid, the other for other kid, but that other kid has a sibling, so I have to make sure the other sibling gets one. So yeah, you end up cutting a lot more than you think, because I don't know if it's just me, but I have babies around me everywhere. So it'll be really useful. Now, once I have it off the machine, I got to cut these tabs off. And the easiest way that I found to be is using one of these reciprocating saws. So let's do that. Okay, so once I cut off the tabs, you're gonna have a little bit of remaining, as well as, the edges are pretty sharp for a baby. And so to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, I like doing this trick, which is getting an 1/8" round over bit on your router and then go around it, and it's gonna remove the tabs as well as round over these edges so it's nice and clean. So less work. So let's do that. I wear a mask for this one and safety goggles. Okay, so once you round over the edges, it should be nice and smooth on the edges, but on the sides, you might find a little bit of chip out and might be a little rough from the CNC cut. The plywood's very soft, so it's gonna kind of be a little bit bumpy, so you're gonna have to sand it. But luckily, since I'm using pre-finished plywood, I don't have to sand the faces, just the edges. So let's do that. I'm using 150 grit, and it should be more than smooth enough. Okay, so I use this thing to sand the inside of these, and the edges are still a little rough, so I still have to hand sand it. I mean, luckily, I don't have to sand the whole thing, and if you're using pre-finish with the Baltic birch, then you're gonna have to match the finish to the face, so I think that's gonna be a really difficult thing to do. So having this laminate plywood, it's very nice. Okay, so once I have all the exposed edges sanded and it's safe to touch and I feel confident that my baby can play with this, you're ready for assembly. Now, before we assemble it, there's a few different things that you can do to customize it to make it a little bit special for your child. So this one here, without any other cuts on the inside, is the seat. And this is what I'm going to engrave. So engraving their name and a little heart, maybe, makes it a little bit special. So I actually made one for my daughter, and one side I put her name on it, and I flipped the chair, and she wanted to flip it back because she saw the name and she liked the name, and she doesn't even know how to read, but she knows that that's means something, and she likes it there, so she had to flip the chair back. So there's several different things that you can customize and laser engrave, or even use the CNC machine to carve out a name. It's really up to you. So you could do it on this back of the chair, sides of the chair, whatever you want to do. And if you end up using regular plywood that's not laminated like this, then you could even paint it. So that's something special that you can do with your kids. So let's go engrave these real quick using my laser engraver, and then we're gonna assemble it. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so this is fresh off the laser, a little bit of burn marks, but this is laminate. So I just use a little bit of alcohol wipes. Look at that, nice and clean. Okay, so I have the seats engraved, and now we're ready to assemble everything. And it's really simple. All you need is a mallet, And it would be nice to have a clamp, but it's not really necessary. I guess the mallet's really not necessary either. But let me just show you real quick, because all you need is one side facing in, I guess. And then you want to put the seat in. And put the backrest in. Okay, all in. And then now, put the top on. Make sure you align it, so you're not just hitting the mallet for no reason. Okay. It's semi-assembled right now, and all I have to do now is add the 4 screws on each side. And that's it. Let me just show you real quick. Also, these screws are gonna be on the SVG file, as well as I'm going to list it on the description below. I think these are M6 screws, but you could use 1/4-inch screws or 1/4-inch thick screws. That's about 1.5 inches. And if you want to be safe and go a little bit of extra, you could pre-drill the holes, but I don't think it's necessary. These are, I think, self-tapping, but if it's not, I feel like the screw goes in and expands the plywood and kind of holds it all together anyways, so it's actually beneficial to not pre-drill. I don't know what I'm talking about. Now, one thing that I do recommend is when you're driving in these screws, don't drive it in too aggressively and watch at the end, because you don't want to go too deep and chip off the laminate. So make sure to go nice and easy. Once you have one side finished, flip it over and finish the other side and you're done. Almost, I guess. There's one more thing that you can do, but I'll tell you later. All right. Okay, so once you have it assembled, I mean, you can kind of use it like this, but let's be real. We're woodworkers, and we don't want to show any exposed edges like this. So what we're going to do is use finish, and we're going to use the simplest finish as possible, which is TOTALBOAT's Wood Honey Food Safe Wood Finish. So if it's food safe, should be baby safe. So we're just gonna wipe this on, wipe it off, and we're good to go. And that's pretty much it for this project. And that's how easy it is to make. So let's just finish and call it done, baby. Okay, so here it is. This is how you make the Woby toddler table and chair set. Now, when it comes to making the tables, it's the exact same process as making the chairs. There's 4 different sides, and there's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws for the bigger table, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the smaller table. I don't know how that ended up happening, but it's the exact same process as making the chair. And like I said before, using the laminate plywood really helps keeping the mess minimal, and you could just wipe it off. These are the type of material that they used to make countertops with. So it's really easy to keep clean, and so I highly recommend it. But that's how you make it. And if you're interested, these files are available on my website, which is woby.design. And also, if you want to get these made and you don't have a CNC machine, ask ALMA from Pink Soul Studios, and I'll have the link in the description below. And maybe ask her nicely, and she might make it for you. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. I don't know what else to say. If you have any questions on how to make this, or if you're getting stuck anywhere, just let me know. It's fairly easy to make, and I think it's a really nice gift to give it to someone who's becoming a parent. I didn't notice up until now, until I had a kid, that there's so many kids, or I have so many friends with kids, and this is like the perfect gift, in my opinion. It's really easy to make, and and you could customize it so they kind of feel like, you know, special. So that's it for this video. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and comment down below what you guys think about this design. Thanks again, and until next time. Woo! You like the blues, huh?